Welcome all to the Tennessee town with a funny name here in Chattanooga. The home-sided Red Wolves once more dig in for a defense of their home patch against bandits from the south. Raiders in red in town tonight as Texoma FC is the guest. A clash for the first time between these two clubs of all the import as you see in the table. The standings starting to solidify just at that meridian stage of the season. Texoma on a big-time run in recent weeks, compiling points and putting themselves up amongst the playoff sides. As for Chattanooga Red Wolves, coming out of nowhere, these two sides, real fighters, real grapplers, and ready to embrace the underdog mantra. Chattanooga can go second with a victory today and results elsewhere in their favor. Of course, for them, it has been in large part served by their talisman number 9, the new man, Matt Bentley, in his first season, putting in big-time numbers at the front end of the attack. He scored in the last 2 games for the squad as Chattanooga have found a way to get consecutive victories after 3 consecutive defeats in all competitions. Bentley will come off the bench today after scoring an all-important penalty in the last match against Richmond Kickers to pocket all 3 points on the road. But with Bentley on the bench, Aaron Lombardi makes his first start for the club, back with the club. He's made many down the years, just rejoining the bunch for the 2025 season. Had that scorcher against Richmond coming off the bench. That is the 12 News player to watch. And as for the overall slate with these teams and the directions of travel, Texoma had that front-loaded schedule with the home games. They will be on a long road trip here with 5 consecutive. Their next home match will be against this very same Red Wolves bunch here in a couple of weeks' time. As for Chattanooga, this has been a tough place to play all season long. They will be engaged after this against top-of-the-table Spokane. For Texoma, in the attacking end, it has been largely spurred along by this man, Osmir Spangler, the Tampa native, in his first season with Texoma, in this first season for the club. 5 goals on the year. He has not had a goal contribution, though, in the last 4 games. He is the one who makes it go, though. For Adrian Forbes and this group of birds, he will be the man in the middle, stirring things on. It should be an exciting one. 2 of the teams that have certainly made the most waves in this 2025 season engaged once more here in the Volunteer State. Folks, don't turn that dial. Chattanooga and Texoma up next.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Why do you always seem to be on that last flight home? Why is the customer always right, even when they're wrong? It's because when it's your business, you're all in. And no one's all in with you like EPB. Only EPB is all in with 100% fiber-fast internet that's always your best value. Plus experts all in to help you 24/7. We're all in Chattanooga because we're all in this together. EPB for your business. We're all in.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Multiple Pantones Red add-on today in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Chattanooga Red Wolves and Texoma FC. Howdy, folks. I'm Peyton Gallagher, and these are the lineups between these two squads that come into this one playing oh so well. And as mentioned previous, it will be Aaron Lombardi taking up the left-hand wingback spot today. That back three of Gomez, Waters, and Kinsner has been the bedrock of one of the least possessive teams in the history, not only of the USL, but American soccer this year, as Chattanooga, the lowest share of possession in the league's history this season, just about 35%. It will be Hernandez and Mercer leading the line, with Matt Bentley on the bench to provide some punch late in the game. As for Texoma, it will be a pair of sled dogs leading the line as McManus and Pepe start for Adrian Form to try and give a little bit more of that backboard and physical presence. Ashmere Spangler will be the one stirring the drink from the middle. Lemmy Johnnet will be that pacey player down the right-hand wing that can cause problems, as the late arriving runner Adrian Form said this week. He thinks he might be one of the quickest players in the USL ecosystem that includes the championship. We are ready to look out to the live pictures now. Texoma and Chattanooga, two sides above the playoff line and filled with wind in the sails as they emerge at each other's doorstep. It's eyeball to eyeball just above the Georgia border. Chattanooga, with consecutive clean sheets, can tie their franchise's recent record of consecutive matches with victories and with clean sheets. The all-time record for Chattanooga is 3 straight wins and 4 consecutive games without conceding a goal. Red Wolves have gone 2 on the skip without having their own net punctured. Texoma fresh from a defeat at the hands of Portland Hearts of Pine, but that comes with an asterisk. That game kicked off after a 4-hour rain delay at 11:30 local time. Preston Kilwine was supposed to start that game and had to be a scratch on the other side of that intermission. He is on the bench today as well for Texoma. It is 99 degrees at field level now. The mercury will dip throughout the course of the game as the sun sets. But beneath that southern sun, it will pay a punishing price early to the side that is chasing the game, and a signal of intent. Chattanooga Red Wolves just booted out a play to set up their press. There is no interest in having the ball. Scott McKenzie does not mince words about it. He's not flowery about it. It is certainly a lunch pail, thermos of coffee, and a PB&J type of mentality for this Red Wolves bunch, and it has served them oh so well. 14 losses in 2024 at the bottom of the table. They can go second today with a victory and results elsewhere. It is as impressive an accomplishment that has existed in this league in terms of a turnaround from 2024 to 2025. It's the first intervention of the game from Sean Tahini, the center official, is requested. Once more, Peyton Gallagher to bring you through the breadth and width of the 90 minutes to come. It should be rip-roaring. Texoma have adopted this back three building structure as of late. It's served them well, has offered them this verticality over the head of McManus. Chattanooga nice and compact defensively. Pepe. And a big clattering collision will bring in the full assortments of those that want to argue a case, particularly that of the Chattanooga persuasion, as Sean Tahini is immediately engaged with Captain Walefi Dos Rice. Looked like it was Earl Lombardi who took the spill. Lombardi, 2 years prior to this with Chattanooga Red Wolves, a longtime servant of them, last year with South Georgia Tormenta. Signed midstream this year. He had been in the Chattanooga area training, preparing, just to try and get himself another chance at the professional game. Scott McKenzie, after a sit-down conversation, came to the agreement that Aaron Lombardi could help this Red Wolves squad immediately. So he's brought in. He makes his first start back with the club here today as Sean Tahini makes her closing argument. Chattanooga players feeling aggrieved that the foul was not awarded in their direction, but no matter now. Red Wolves did have a game recently against Greenville Triumph in which they conceded 3-headed goals. See if Texoma can ignite the aerial threat straight away. It's Ozzy Ramos, as well as Teddy Baker over top, casting long shadows in the setting sun. Goalkeeper Jason Smith waits on his line, in by Baker. It's a well-placed ball that skips just wide of the far stick. Always something that will put the heart in the throat of a goalkeeper when the ball is allowed to bounce inside the 6-yard box like that. The runner just arriving a touch too late in the form of Reed Valentine. A nervous moment, but nothing more than that for Chattanooga. Away by Declan Waters. This is a Red Wolves bunch that had conceded 113 goals in the 2 seasons preceding this one. Have been lock, stock, and barrel, maybe the best defense in the league in 2025. Their goalkeeper Jason Smith today on the precipice of measuring himself as the all-time single season clean sheets leader, at least in that pantheon of players, tied with 2 others. He's done that. It would be 6 clean sheets with no goals conceded today for Chattanooga. Jason Smith has only made 15 saves on the year, a measure of exactly what kind of defensive work has been done by Scott McKenzie's outfit, as it's a throw-in to come. Omar Hernandez, the one hatching his plan, trying to make sure he's not blinded by the sun. Lobbed into the box. A stiff header at the first engagement. John A. throws his nose into the fan. There's been another collision and another free kick to Texoma. Rodriguez family dentistry replay. Another chance to look at really maybe an indication of what is to come throughout the course of this contest. It will be one that is paid in the price of bumps and bruises. Slashed away by Valentine. A test of will to win the ball. Grayson Mercer's taking it down. And he has popped up offside. Grayson Mercer making his first league start for Red Wolves this season here today, filling in for Matt Bentley. This Chattanooga team has found ways to fashion depth. It's a system that is somewhat modular in terms of the personnel. Can plug players in as long as they're willing to give the right kind of effort. Scott McKenzie has done such a wonderful job of communicating roles to those 11 shows on any given day, and the side in red have been battle tested all the way up and down, tip to tail of the squad that they've assembled. This is a bit of a risky ball. Goalkeeper backing off. It falls for Hernandez, and scrambling into action to meet it was Javier Garcia. He's become the number 1 for Texoma in recent weeks, making his 10th start in the league of the year. And since he took over as the number 1 from Mason McCready, posted the highest number of total saves in that time frame. And any goalkeeper in the USL League One had to make one there. As play continues in Chattanooga, have attacking intent inside the first 10. Sweeping ball to the far boundary. Snuffed out for another throw. Here's a look at that nearly hectic moment at the back as Hernandez just struggled to see it as it arrived at his feet, took that heavy touch. May not have even got any purchase of the ball before it skipped into the gloves of Javier Garcia. Maybe an indication that the sun will have some effect on those balls in the air. Omar Hernandez once more fashioning himself as the trebuchet as he flashes into the area, nodded away at the first engagement. Another crushing tackle this time. It's thrown in by Will Perkins, and there is much more than just an initial challenge thrown. Will Perkins, who had the own goal only 5 minutes off the restart against Portland Hearts of Pine. That was the single tally on that day that saw Texoma go down, and he makes his presence felt in more ways than one inside the first 10 minutes here. Referee has decided to keep the card in the pocket, but tensions fraying certainly as both these sides make their first impressions on one another, the first playing of this game. You get the sense that it's just not really in the genetics of either program to back down. Some foreshadowing of what's to come. Scott McKenzie going over the blueprints with Aaron Lombardi. Those two having worked together as a partnership in Scott McKenzie's first season with the club, at that point as an assistant. Ball in. It's met with a strong knuckle by Garcia. Settled by Pedro Hernandez. And re-entered into the area. Luffy chasing it down, the captain. Straight into the point from Chattanooga Red Wolves, over the head of Declan Waters. Another battle for the ball. And more malice between several of those players down on the field. It was Garcia first who took issue with Michael Knapp. It wouldn't be the first time Michael Knapp has been sent off this year. Garcia felt like he was in his landing space, and the referee has been put in something of a boiling pot here immediately, and she's got the yellow card out of the pocket. See who it will be shown to. It might be to both players, just to send an equal measure message that there will be no suffering of fools here today, and it is a yellow card for both Michael Knapp and Javier Garcia. You would imagine much more pertinent to Michael Knapp as an outfield player than the goalkeeper. So here's another look at precisely what happened. There was another crushing blow at the top of the 18-yard box. Knapp got up and started throwing less than theatrical pushes. Sometimes when you see players push and shove a little bit, it's that hold me back mentality, just kind of waiting for a teammate to come grab them so that they can look tough for a moment, if you will. That didn't feel like that was the case there. It is a hot start in terms of temperature and temper. We'll see what the ruling of the referee is. It appears that there was actually an initial foul there. You saw that hard hit at the top of the box. It looked like Pedro Hernandez was the one who took the blow. They allowed advantage to play out to see if maybe a chance would emerge for Chattanooga, but after all of that, it's wound back. And it will be a very dangerous free kick from prime real estate belonging to Omar Hernandez. Already twice he's found the back of the net this year. Omar Hernandez, it's blocked straight into the middle of the wall. Not sure what the plan was there. And kept in by Pepe. It gets away from Jaune. Crashed out of touch for a goal kick and a chance to simmer some of the tension. Here's the free kick, and it was hit with some pace and maybe not as much precision. Sometimes you'll see free kick takers try and play it through the wall because it's hard to see for the goalkeeper. With that many bodies so congested, packed into the sardine can, it was always going to be difficult to find the piercing blow. Chattanooga putting their name on a lot of the 50-50s early. Once more, it's Javier Garcia alive to the danger to take it off the head of the oncoming Grayson Mercer. It's a man who's had much work lately. 5 saves last game, tied his career high against Portland Hearts of Pine. Also had contender for the save of the week this week. That match well after midnight. Kinsner away. There is Scott McKenzie. 6 wins, 5 draws, only 2 losses on the league campaign for this bunch. At this trajectory, they've nearly made it impossible for them to have more losses in 2025 than they had in 2024. As another foul has been given, another yellow has been given, and who to is the question. It will be to Jordan Chavez, the captain of the side. Only his 3rd yellow card of the year. Neither side will blush. The only red you'll see will be in their kits today. It has yielded, though, a potentially useful free kick here. Ball in. It's at a low trajectory and stemmed away. Hammered towards goal. It dips violently at the end. You see the wind whipping out towards that end of the stadium, but ultimately no problems for Javier Garcia. It was Gomez who got a hold of it, coming up and seeing the license to shoot up from his natural center back position. I've not seen the ball on the floor very much so far. Adrian Forbes made that a point in the build up to this game as nothing more than a hopeful hit. Knows how to play for a goal kick. Texoma at their core like the ball on the grounds. They want to play quickly. They want to play connectedly. Move through lines and not have to win all those 50-50 duels in the air. They will if they have to. But their brand of play is with the ball on the floor. That has not been something that's been afforded to them so far on this one. Over a quarter of an hour gone. Another free kick has been awarded. The ball has only been in play so far for about 3 minutes of the first 15, according to our tracking data. And that's pretty clear and obvious. Eric Kinsner has his arm around the neck of Brandon McManus, preventing him from rising to meet the ball. A little bit of a cheap foul to give away. From a similar space to this, Texoma conjured their best chance and really only chance of the game, only about 2 minutes into the contest. On that occasion, it was Teddy Baker. We'll see if he's allowed the honors once more. It's a 2-man barricade for Jason Smith. Chattanooga have not conceded a goal in their last 2. It is once more Baker. Smith is pinned in. The ball skips away. The flag is popped for offside. Chattanooga Red Wolves, 60% possession. This must feel like a completely different continent for them. They have had some of the commands early on in this game. A Texoma team that does not mind much for the opponent. Adrian Forbes felt like there were some frailties that Texoma could exploit in this Chattanooga outfit. But anytime asked about how they would try and alter their approach to face this very dogmatic Red Wolves bunch, it was almost always shrugged off to say that we'll play our game. And there's another yellow card, it seems. This time it's to Josh Ramos, and once more, it's not much question to it. Ramos makes flusher connection there. It probably is a different color. Studs up above that ankle height. That could have been really dangerous for him. Been one of the best young defenders in the league, finding his footing with Chattanooga this year. First year outside of the South Georgia Tormenta system. Former teammate of Ajmer Spangler and Preston Kilwine. Referee is once more given another foul. It's been a tough spot so far for Sean Tahini. It was physical right from the off, and as a referee, again, not much question there. Declan Waters with the high arm, making it tough for Brandon McManus. But when you have to go to the pocket so early and start giving the yellow cards, it doesn't leave players a lot of places to go. It's always a fine line to walk. You want to make sure that players don't get overly aggressive early. You set a standard for how it's going to be called. You don't want to over-restrict the game and its flow as this ball is entered in. It's a glancing header that takes it off course and out for a throw-in. Ozzy Ramos played deliverer. It was Kinsner that had the cover in. And there is Adrian Forbes. His first year at the Stead as the manager of Texoma FC. A probing throw-in into the areas, once more smashed clear. Adrian Forbes was always going to make a big impact in his first season with Texoma. Been around the highest levels of the game, operating within the Norwich program in England. Actually, while working as a coach for Norwich City, also served as the club's PA announcer at senior level. Announced a playoff final that saw Norwich City promoted to the Premier League at Wembley Stadium, so no arena will feel too big for him. Forbes excited to get his first real crack at senior management. Felt like he had a lot to prove coming in and taking up this Texoma residency. It's a necessary mentality, a personality, if you will, that this entire team and project have taken on, punching up in their first season. Calfo. It's a loose first touch and back to Jason Smith. Allowed to receive the ball with little pressure. Kinsner. Back in for Javier Garcia. The game's starting to find its tempo now. This is a well-worked bit of interplay. That's lovely stuff on the ball from Ramos. Plowed in behind. Smith's out of goal. Just arrives in the nick of time. And it goes spilling away from Valentine at the back. Another toppling tackle. And it's apparently done so cleanly. And plotted out of play for a throw. USL on CBS kicks off July with a hot showdown in the Championship Eastern Conference. Last season's final runner-up, Rhode Island FC, takes on Northeast rival Hartford Athletic on Saturday, July 19th at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's on CBS. They're calling it El Clamico. And I will explain nothing beyond that. A moonshotted ball into the center. It's a fairly poor header in the middle and pushed wide. A toppling at the top of the area. Was that inside the box? Matters not now. On approach, Omar Gomez into the area. Ramos. Gomez goes down. And there's more grappling between players with Gomez on the ground. Certainly would be worth another look to see exactly how much contact there was, as Walefi Dos Rice is right in the eye of the hurricane. A yellow card is out of the pocket. Since there's been no penalty given, it would either have to be for dissent or for a dive by Gomez. Jackson Krauser, Audra Fullen, the linesman today. Looks like Audra Fullen was right there on top of that play. Promise Adebayo Ike is the fourth official. That yellow card is still waiting on a recipient. And that's a yellow card to Ozzy Ramos as well as Omar Hernandez. Not quite sure what that was all about. I'll let you be the judge. Something must have taken place after the play itself. It is already the sixth total yellow card, shared evenly 3 apiece between the two teams. I'm not quite sure what the holdup is on the restart. Now it should be said, Texoma entered today with 52 yellow cards, so most in the USL League One by 9. They're under duress here as the ball goes skidding back. There'll be nothing more than a goal kick. Sprayed downfield. It is a direct and to the point approach. Popped skyward by Ramos. It's a game of head tennis. Ball might have been in the air longer today than it's been on the ground. That's a nifty back heel, and off to the races the Birds. Well, Dos Rice, the cleanup crew. Red Wolves choose to try and play out Lombardi. On the twist and wins the throw, taken immediately. It is toe-to-toe, in the most literal sense. Close confines out there on the far flank, not for the faint of heart. Taken in by Omar Hernandez, who pushes along for Pedro Hernandez. And play is once more stopped before anything can emerge. I think there may have been a decision for offside, and there's some speculation as to precisely where the ball should be set back in motion from. This is a look at that nose-to-nose bit of battling at the touchline. Each side getting a bite at the apple, if you will. And I think they're going to say Mercer was the one offside, pulling the defender back. So it was not Hernandez that got the early start. Probably the right call there. Six yellow cards so far. That is the top line. Josh Ramos, Omar Hernandez, Michael Knapp for the home side. As for Texoma, Javier Garcia, Jordan Chavez, the captain, and Ozzy Ramos. That will need the abundance of caution as we move forward. Omar Gomez, time to turn. A bit of a dangerous ball across the formation into Kinsner. And Declan Waters. He is the sentry in the middle of that back three. Tall and sturdy frame. That turns Chattanooga into the attacking end. Ramos can't get away from Lemonjane, who might have the pace to get there. Comes up a step shy. Throw in here. The long walk to recover the ball. Omar Gomez. Sturdy bit of hold-up play from Grayson Mercer. Advances the ball, effectively a first down, if you will. Moving the chains in Chattanooga into the final third. Just as it is a pertinent point, circling back to an earlier musing here, the ball has only been in play for 8 minutes of the first 30. You can typically expect about 2/3 of the overall game time to be in play, as this one is thrust away as it entered the box, and there's another man down. It was Lombardi who towered tall and sent the defender to his backside. Looks like it was Jordan Chavez. This feels as good a time as any to take the hydration break and regroup, as Jordan Chavez will start this break at his rear. Physios are on. It's been a taxing affair so far. Half an hour in, and already the toll being paid by both Chattanooga Red Wolves and Texoma FC. Here's what you've missed if you're just now joining us. It was within the first 5 minutes that this skipping stone nearly caused real problems for Chattanooga later on in the game. It was just a long ball that nearly fell so kindly for Pedro Hernandez. Just could not put a lasso to it as it popped down from a mile high at his feet. A diving claim from Javier Garcia to end any kind of ambition of going ahead, and not many highlights to show you. That is as accurate a statement as any of the first third of this contest. These are the confines these sides find themselves in, literally in this sense, here in Chattanooga, but more widely. What's coming up on the docket? Chattanooga Red Wolves have had a couple games on the road in recent weeks, and the reward for that, 3 of the next 4 in their home venue. Their next 2 matches beyond this, we've already told you, will be against Spokane Velocity and Knoxville SC. Big games in that one. Spokane Velocity are the ones leading the pack. As for Texoma, they had the early games in their home venue, so now they must pay the retribution for that. 5 consecutive starting today on the road, including 2 in the Jägermeister Cup. Coming up next for them against Union Omaha, USL Championship side. Colorado Springs Switchbacks, the reigning title holder in the USL Championship. As we exit the hydration break, prepare for the final 15 minutes of this first frame here in Tennessee. The USL on ESPN2, you can watch July 26th for a Jägermeister Cup clash between Championship Club Detroit City FC and League One newcomer Westchester SC on Saturday, July 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern on the worldwide leader ESPN2. USL League One taking center stage there. Big chance for Westchester to pull the slingshot back at mighty Goliath, Detroit City FC. As for now, it's an in-swinging corner that will recommence play. Omar Hernandez looks into the box. Hopes that he might catch Texoma a little bit drowsy out of the restart. Ball in, beamed away. Hit once more into the area. It's blocked this time. Looked like Valentine put his face in the path in flight of a ball that looked like it was tracking towards goal. And this time, Javier Garcia allowed enough time to arrive at the ball. Mason McCready was really solid at the start of the season this year for Texoma. It was going to take a lot to dislodge him from that posting between the pipes. Thing is, Javier Garcia has done a lot, has quickly emerged as one of the league's best goalkeepers in recent weeks. Only became the starter on May 11th and has not looked back, averaging 77% save percentage, which is the 3rd most in the league for the season amongst qualifying goalkeepers. Poked out a play. That's a good polo. Scott McKenzie, a sharply dressed man at the steering wheel of a sharply demeanored Chattanooga Red Wolves side. Really feels like, in talking to Scott McKenzie, this is a side created, molded in his image, has become somewhat of a bust for the manager. As in his first year and a half in charge, had a lot of talented players, but really weren't able to fit a team concept that made the engine really run for this program. That's been the opposite case here in 2025. As case in point, Walefi, the captain who was afforded the opportunity this offseason to depart for greener pastures, chose to stick it out. Scott McKenzie, in conversation earlier this year, remarked to me that Walefi is one of the best people he's ever known, and with the armband in hand, he is the one that makes everything run in the center. Longest serving Red Wolf player on this roster, Walefi. Over 135 league appearances for the club. John A. unable to swivel free. And some gymnastics after the contact. It's Lemon John A. Let's see what happens. Just got a bit of a bang. That's a nasty collision. Not sure if the defender caught him at the knee or if the ball that was being cleared did, but neither will feel good. At first initial just appraisal of that situation, it felt like 3 somersaults may have been overkill, but after review, it feels appropriate enough. Jonah is able to carry on and continue. And it is a dangerous free kick 10 minutes from the end of the first half. You would imagine there will be a hefty helping of stoppage time on the other end of the 45-minute mark. A game in search of a point of difference here in the Volunteer State. Teddy Baker at the controls. Up and away. And it's a calm clutch for Jason Smith. Not much requested. From Chime Memorial Stadium, the long march of the home side towards goal. Omar Hernandez in for Declan Waters. Declan Waters, only player in this team that's played every minute in the league. As he watches on, his team trying to fly in formation to the opposing ends. Well spotted into Ramos, an even better touch to poach it out of the sky. Ramos skipping away. Just got the ball stuck up underneath. Well covered by Reed Valentine, who continues his procession. Emin Jaune fails to keep it on. Ramos just muscling his way into a good attacking position. Jaune beaten there, but settling into that left-sided center back role this year, Reed Valentine. A natural fullback that's accepted his job in the back three and performed admirably there in his defensive duties. It does render an opportunity, though, maybe a window for Omar Hernandez to pry open. Flown into the area. And flushed back right from where it came from. Omar Hernandez, the point of origin, onto the left foot! My, what a strike! Omar Hernandez bends the line with a left-footed blast and makes it 1-0. It leaves you lost for words. For the third time this year, none will be better than that from Omar Hernandez. The game was begging for a man to take it into its hands. Hernandez takes it at feet and thunders home with a goal that he will replay in his own memory for the rest of his days. What a hit from Omar Hernandez. And what a way to claim the lead for Chattanooga. It all turns red, Chattanooga red. And the Wolves dig in now. This is what they do, and they will suffocate the game from here. With the dogged defending, the hard running, it almost feels that Chattanooga, when they come up in these moments, that they've earned the opportunity to do something breathtaking. Each player with the license to go forward, the confidence to take the moment, and Omar Hernandez is the most recent to do so. That is just special. And with 40 minutes having come and gone, the whole game changes now. Didn't feel like either side had generated all too much. It all comes in one rush. After that stop and start commencement of proceedings here, the game finds its rhythm in the form of Omar Hernandez as foul is awarded. Perkins saw someone go over his head. Red Bulls now in management mode, trying to protect the advantage that they've ensured themselves with, at least to the end of this first frame. This is where Red Wolves become oh so deadly. Now in a position where they can't sit in, be made to feel comfortable, and on even footing, look for that chance to break out with a lightning counter and advance the lead to 2. It is a tall tower to climb for Texoma from this point on, as the referee has interjected herself once more. And it's sorted out with a smile, as it looks like this free kick will be retaken. I believe the decision was that there was something of a tangle before the ball was delivered into the area. 41st minute now. Game at the feet of Teddy Baker with 2 arms raised. Towered into the box at the back stick, looking for the knock on. Comes clear at the top of the box, and looking for the spectacular in return was Ozzy Ramos. Never the technique. In that moment, it's an easy save for Jason Smith, and you see in Smith's case why he's been able to put up 5 clean sheets this year with only 15 league saves. He has not had much to do today. Willefee. Chattanooga are hungry. Ramos raging forward and just runs out of road. Here's that ball into the box. Michael Knapp, the first one to rise. And just mishit on the half volley from Ozzy Ramos. Maybe heard the footsteps on the oncoming defender. No patterns today for Texoma. Talk about being able to quickly connect, get those overloads, and play through opponents. That's not been on the menu today. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big league, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com. Latest Select product specials and more. Select, I'm told, it's the player's choice. And it's the choice of Teddy Baker to go direct and pop that flag up straight away. Lemon Johnny has switched sides, at least for now. Over to the right outskirt of the field, and he had the extra step. Omar Hernandez separates the side, his goal. at the 40th minute. It came with a loud crack that completely shook the thing up. Other than that, it's been a pugilistic pursuit. A lot of pushing, a lot of shoving, a lot of yellow cards. Not much separation between the sides. Once more, it's a spilling of sweat and maybe a little bit blood. As another foul is given. A ruthless bit of tackling, it looked like, from Ajmer Spangler, who has had nothing to do today. Chattanooga have effectively taken him out of the contest, something Scott McKenzie said they were paying some attention to. They understood that Ajmer was the creative outlet, and that might just be the extinguishing of a little bit of frustration from him. Only 6 touches in the first half for Ajmer Spangler, and that's nowhere near good enough for Texoma. Their leading scorer on the year, having already contributed 5 goals, 3 assists. Team's leader in box touches by a large distance with 42. A number most specifically often reserved for number 9s. He's the number 10 in this team. Shows you the kind of threat that he poses, but no access to the game for Ajmer so far. It's another foul given. Board being calibrated by Cronus Adebayo Ige. Our 4th official today, and we will see what the reading is. It will be 5 minutes. That feels just about fair. Foul awarded here. This will go against the home side. Body Armor is the official sports drink of Chattanooga Red Wolves. And it is into stoppage time. These sides find themselves testing their endurance. Can the Birds bite back here on the road? Texoma ahead of the curtain fall. Or can Chattanooga double their distance between the in-town Bandits? Hooked away, and happy to let it go out for a throw is Omar Gomez. Gomez getting it back, getting in his cross. Stepped away for now. Omar Hernandez plowing wide for Lombardi. Put in the feint, and it looked like he just carved out enough separation to draw the foul on Laminjane, and he did. This is a heady move from the veteran. Almost started his run as a bit of a decoy before jutting in and reaching the ball. Kind of like how you see receivers at times in football, running with a cornerback, knowing that the corner has their head turned to the play, not committing till it's right on the doorstep. That's what that resembled, and it's won a free kick here. Chattanooga already 1 goal to the good. Not a side that have been beaten much in any capacity, let alone at home, let alone with a lead. It would be hard to think of a way back beyond something of a historic night for Texoma if they concede here. It skips free and sent skyward by Pedro Hernandez. Chattanooga have reinforcements on the bench as well. Think about what Matt Bentley has been able to produce in recent weeks and how Chattanooga have picked up the slack in his absence today in the starting 11. He waits in the dugout, maybe for a commissioning into this second frame. Flick on off the back heel from Josh Ramos. Another real joust for it. This time it's a free kick for Chattanooga. pushing to the far flank. Snapped up in the center. McManus gives a bit of pursuit back to Jason Smith. The most recent name taken, and that does not seem like it's enough to satisfy Chattanooga Red Wolves, who thought that that might have been a sending off. I mean, the studs are up and there is a scissoring action that could have been much more gruesome. It's certainly a reckless challenge. Does it meet the threshold for red? Probably not. Calfo a bit lucky though that he caught just as much of the ball as he did. Anytime that toe is not pointed towards the pitch, you are asking for something to go wrong, and that is what the official is telling him. Don't think there's much ill will there, just a hard charging bit of defensive work. Well, if he's still not satisfied. There should be one final action in this frame off the free kick. It was Pedro Hernandez who absorbed that menacing contact, and he is up and ready to continue. Half that's seen already 7 names scribbled coming to its final action in Bend. Omar Hernandez looking for the pathway forward. It arrives in the form of Josh Ramos, who immediately speeds by his man and takes aim! Rolls it just wide of the post. It looked like the goalkeeper had it covered. And that might be all she wrote, as Ramos, ambition enough to heave one in from distance, cut a couple blades of grass on the way, and cuts us to the end of the frame. So it goes. It is Omar Hernandez who defines the tie as it sits 1-0. It's his brilliant blast that put distance between the sides, and so we hit the break here in the USL League One, in a game that has much tension heading into its second act. Chattanooga Red Wolves, Texoma FC, only the 1 goal between them so far in the den of the Wolves. We got much more to come here at the half. Folks, don't adjust the set. Stay with us. More coming up.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
He shoots, and he scores!
Do you know how fast you were going? 2.5 gig. With kids on the couch.
New 2.5 gig internet from EPB.
Slow down.
It's recklessly fast.
Too fast.
With SmartNet plus Wi-Fi.
Violation.
Turbocharging all your devices. More than twice the speed of the gig for just a little more. Only from EPB.
That is recklessly fast.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
At the break, that's a pretty picture here in beautiful Tennessee as we look at the upcoming schedule, starting with Chattanooga. This team has been as good as anybody in the league in their home venue. Coming into today, unbeaten at home at 4 wins, 2 draws, no losses. Spokane Velocity will test themselves against this Chattanooga bunch up next. And then after that, it's a Smoky Mountain smackdown, this time in the league against one Knoxville SC. Should be a great game there. Then it's away to Westchester SC before seeing Forward Madison and Union Omaha, 3 teams that are currently right about at the playoff line, just below. As for Texoma, we led the broadcast by telling you it's going to be a lot on the road, and that is certainly the case. This is the first of 5 consecutive away from Sherman, as the next 2 games will be in the Jägermeister Cup. Texoma all but out of that competition, so you can expect to see some rotation in the squad there before seeing Charlotte Independence, who have had an excellent season in their own right, currently on pace for a home playoff game, then away to FC Naples, and finishing up against this very same side that they see today in Chattanooga Red Wolves back at home as we move into the month of August. As for what's coming up on the national radar, it's so good to see so many teams in the spotlight up amongst the divisions here in the USL Championship and League One. You can see Westchester SC engaged with Detroit City FC on decision day in the Jägermeister Cup there. As for the other competitions going on, El Clamico, the big one on CBS, the national stage between Hartford Athletic and Rhode Island FC in their beautiful home venue. Phoenix Rising and Orange County, a real clash, a rivalry that's developed down the years to bring up the rear guard in the month of July. As we set to step aside here at halftime, it's good to tell you the experience is presented by El Jimador Spike Bebidas. It's a video docu-series that shows the history, passion, and community of the USL and its clubs and their supporter groups. The latest episode showcases Rhode Island FC and their support group Defiance 1636. It's available on youtube.com/USL on July 17th.
We want to be the loudest people around. We want you to hear where we are at.
Oh, let it go!
No one thought we would do what we did against Louisville.
We were hot, we were clicking, we were scoring goals.
Even after the whistle blew and they were champions, forget about it. Raise your scarves, we kept playing.
I don't think I've heard a louder scream from a group of people than we did that night.
That's the important thing about this group. They never stop loving their team.
Prinks tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines, from early mornings to late nights, from fun with friends to winner takes all, from the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks tires will be there for the long haul.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
Pound of wood a day.
What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
The box keeper's out. He scores! He shoots and he scores!
Second half quickly approaching here in Tennessee, where it sits 1-0. Chattanooga out in front, even if it is just by a nose, ahead of Texoma FC. As for the news and notes from elsewhere in the division, you can watch the Cup draw, the Jägermeister Cup, on Friday. What will happen there is they will pick out which group winners will play where, although there will be one more round of matches in that competition played at the end of the month. As for the USL on CBS, an exciting one between Rhode Island and Hartford Athletic. That will kick off this Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's on CBS, a big moment for the United Soccer League. And then, of course, for Portland Hearts of Pine, who just saw Texoma so recently, they get their first away victory in 7 attempts this year at Texoma. Also broke the consecutive sellouts record at home in recent weeks. This is what the table is shaping up to be as we check in on the pulse at this point of the year. Chattanooga Red Wolves, if they can make this result stick, can get to second in the table. An astonishing feat for this group that a year ago were at the absolute basement of this league. As for Texoma, they can solidify themselves inside the playoff line. Scores from around the division as they sit into the second half. A little bit of a head start for Portland and Greenville. Triumph on us. That is a high-scoring game taking place in the Northeast. 2-1. Both those sides starting to find the beat in 2025. When Knoxville out ahead of red-hot Avialta. That result, if it holds, will serve Chattanooga Red Wolves 1-1 at the break between Spokane and Westchester. The player of the week, it's the Bull, Danny Fernandez, claiming this distinction, presented by eFootball. And here's what the team of the week around him looks like. A couple of Union Omaha players back in the fold. Good to see them back amongst the wins after the departing of their manager, Dom Casciato, as he joins up with Tampa Bay Rowdies. A couple of Forward Madison players involved in this team as they found 3 goals against Greenville. Triumph on the CBS Golazo Network. And hey, I know that guy, Matt Bentley, in the team after his goal against Richmond Kickers last time out. Second half coming to you soon. It is a feisty affair between these two that feel like old rivals in their first ever clash of these colors red. Chattanooga Red Wolves, Texoma FC. See if there's more excitement in the second frame, almost guaranteed to be. Second half coming to you when we return.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
He shoots, and he scores!
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Those in attendance, all smiles here in Chi Memorial Stadium as Chattanooga Red Wolves, the home side, by way of Omar Hernandez, find themselves ahead heading into the second half. As for how they arrived at that point, the first half highlights, and it started early, and it started with plenty of contact, physicality, and ill will between Texoma FC and Chattanooga Red Wolves. 7 yellow cards in that first half, the joint most in any half of a game this year in the league, and the most in a first half of any contest. To date in 2025 in the USL League One, it would be Texoma throwing the first blow with a half chance early on, but Chattanooga Red Wolves, beyond the 6th minute, would conjure this moment of opportunity as it fell at the feet of Pedro Hernandez, but ultimately found the gloves of Javier Garcia along into the 15th minute. It's another chance for Chattanooga Red Wolves. This time at the top of the area, it would be Omar Gomez, I should say. That cued one up from distance and missed the mark. This later on in the half, coming to the feet of Omar Hernandez as he skirted in onto the left foot and dropped everybody's draw in the venue as he fired this one in with some conviction off the left foot. A strike with significant venom, and that is one of only 2 shots on target in the game to date between the two sides. It finds the back of the net and sets it as it stands at 1-0. The most surprising stat on this page, Chattanooga Red Wolves are winning the possession battle 55% so far. This is a side that has not surpassed 300 passes in any game this year, charting to potentially do that here today. Just for context, every other team in the league has done that at least 6 times in 2025. That man over the ball will be the one that feels the biggest weight on his shoulders to try and carry his side back into the game, at least in the creative department. Ajmer Spangler only 6 touches in the first 45 minutes. A player that Adrian Forbes will need to find a way to get more involved as we enter into this new installment of what has been a contentious contest. Second half up and running in Tennessee between Chattanooga Red Wolves and Texoma FC. Peyton Gallagher with you to bring you all the charting of the contest, and that is right where we left off. A yellow card straight away, this time to Pedro Hernandez, and that makes 8. If you're just now getting back to us from whatever you were doing in the halftime break, just to once more reset, 7 yellow cards in the first half, leveled the most in any half of play. In 2025 in the USL League One, it was the most of any first half of any game played to date. As we push on into the second frame. Slipped out of touch for a throw. Claimed by Aaron Lombardi. Both sides remaining unchanged in this sweltering heat. Texoma FC a little bit beat up heading into this game. No Dane Domich to speak up. No Botnichuk in the lineup as this congested portion of the schedule will test their mettle. Searching ball in behind, just a blind rise to it from McManus. Now it's with Luffy. And a good turn out of the back. That's Omar Gomez on a drive. Michael Knapp. This is maybe the longest sequence of passing what we've seen from Chattanooga Red Wolves as Mercer arrives and takes it in tow. His cross is blotted out. That cross over the line, it does not appear to be the case. Mercer bending one into the box. What a kick save! Javier Garcia, a jumping jack as he denies a shot from point-blank range and keeps it at 1-0. The ball's gone out of play. It is a goal kick. Javier Garcia has made a couple of stops this year as that ball looked like it got over the line. Matters not at this stage. This is probably the most impressive he's ever made. Not just this season, maybe his career. That is ridiculous goalkeeping. It is only a footnote now, though, as the objective remains the same for his side. Texoma, a new lease on life. The deficit could have doubled there. Jason Smith, a heavy touch, but he gets the ball back moving. Walefi. A steadying first touch from Ramos and over the top from Hernandez. Pedro Hernandez trying to latch on. Well dealt with at the back, though. Pedro Hernandez was just booked. He must be careful. Texoma, toy with the advantage. Laminjane on the other end. His cross comes cutting across and is gobbled up at the back by Omar Gomez, who's given it away. Gone in for a tackle, Osmir Spangler now. Michael Knapp goes in. Bodies hitting the floor everywhere. Walefi can't get clear, and now foul is finally given. And Walefi, the captain, sticks one on Osmir Spangler after having his pocket picked. Just getting straight down to business, these two. Right where they left off things in the first half. A 1,000,000-mile-per-hour start inside the first 5 minutes of the second frame of action. That was probably the best open play chance that Texoma have conjured to this stage in the game. Laminjane attaching himself to a ball in behind and getting one across the bow. Played by Michael Knapp. His pass is cut out and intercepted by Laminjane, who's taking up residence now on this near-hand side. Started the game on the left. Ozzy Ramos, clean work with the ball. A probing pass in behind. Josh Ramos will arrive. Goes shoulder to shoulder with Diego Pepe and wins that clash. Just to get a good accounting of things, the players that are sitting on a caution at this point, there are 8 of them. For Texoma, it's the goalkeeper, Javier Garcia, as well as several key defenders, Ozzy Ramos, Angelo Calfo, and the captain, Jordan Chavez. For Chattanooga, it's Josh Ramos, Omar Hernandez, Michael Knapp, and Pedro Hernandez that are one action away from being sent off and changing the whole game again. Grayson Mercer, that vacuuming presence to bring the ball down, but he's lost it to Texoma. Looks like Chattanooga are preparing a couple of alterations. Osmir Spangler. Brought in along by Valentine, cleared to the other end by Walefi. Ozzy Ramos and Valentine. This is the best stuff on the ball we've seen from Texoma. Right in that moment, pass that lost focus, it's out for a throw. Scott McKenzie with a word for the official. It looks like Scott McKenzie is the most recent name to be included in that little book of the referee, Sean Tahini. And that discourse continuing to its conclusion. Here's what happens. The ball went out of play right in front of the dugout. Scott McKenzie, whatever he said was across the line, apparently. The yellow card was directly shown to Scott McKenzie, so there was some good reason to operate with the assumption that he is the one who received it directly. And play once more continues. Texoma trying to sink their claws into a game that they've had little say in so far. Snipped out. That's a tiny bit of tackling from Omar Gomez. Now a switch of the point and nearly got through as Laminjane tracked the run of Grayson Mercer. Walefi not taking any chances and pushes it out of play for a throw. I mentioned that it looked like Chattanooga were preparing an alteration. The entire bench is cleared out as bodies are up and warming. Zahir Vasquez, Matt Bentley, among the standout names, Wynan Wessels, Jordan Iambila, all players that have seen extensive action this season that are on the bench. Adrian Forbes has made an equal parts move in his own right with all of his bench players available today, up and moving, preparing themselves if they are called upon, as the ball is plowed out of play, and the ruling appears to be that Josh Ramos did not draw the foul. He does lead the team in that department this year. That being said, Chattanooga, with them a throw-in in this area of the field, effectively is a set piece. Omar Hernandez, the goal scorer. It's a sturdy bit of defensive work in the middle from Jordan Chavez, who clears his lines. Kinsner. Omar Gomez over the top. It gets away from the goalkeeper, who has to improvise but makes whatever he did at the back stick. McManus down. Osmir Spengler, a sense for opportunity, but just pinched back by Omar Gomez. Omar Gomez having himself a game here today. Grayson Mercer takes it into the channel. Pedro Hernandez never going to win that fight. And here is the question, the cause for concern. Was Javier Garcia outside his area when he gets the second touch to the ball? Does not look to be the case in the awareness, with his eyes trained directly on the ground to see that he was outside of his area of inclusion. Heads upness to not panic and just kick it away. High level goalkeeping. He must dig in once more. It skips away from him. No foul is given as the goalkeeper appeared to be interfered with. And this will land kindly for Pedro Hernandez, who gets to work and gets in a curling ball that will not test much of Javier Garcia's resolve. He's up for it in the second half. Javier Garcia, a couple of key plays as Declan Waters claims ownership of possession. Chattanooga more than happy to just knock it around. A little pressure in their own hands. Kinsner spraying one towards Lombardi. It's a throw in for the home side. Much better tempo so far in this second half of action as we've passed the first 10 minutes of play. Chattanooga Red Wolves with 3 shots on target, none from the visitors. Both sides have only attempted around 120 total passes to give you the picture for how this game has been played. Declan Waters racing to get a piece. It's won by Chattanooga Red Wolves. Maybe no better illustration of how Chattanooga have played this year than their big central center back, Declan Waters, being second on the team this year in terms of box touches, only missing out to Matt Bentley. In fact, with how this first half has gone, not much of a lead in that department for Bentley. Waters may have passed him again. He will be the target as this ball is floated into the area. Down by Knapp. Palmed wide, Walefi. It's a biteless effort. Player in Walefi Dos Rice that's not scored a goal in nearly 2,000 total days. This was brought down by the thigh of Michael Knapp, and Walefi Saw just enough of a pathway towards goal to let it rip. That's good work. Perkins. Lemon-Joune kind of brought his marker into contested airspace there. Made it tough on Perkins, and it's stabbed out of touch by Lombardi. Presenting for a touch, Anzi Ramos. Lemon-Joune. Enough runway to get in a ball. It's belted out of touch. Over the bar. Brandon McManus rising highest, but caught it on the way up. A chance of Spurns. Still no shots on target for Texoma. That is, if calculations are correct, only the second time they've even touched the ball in the box so far today. Just a testament to the kind of defensive organization that Chattanooga have been able to inspire in 2025. Mercer on to Ramos. Racing in behind, the flag is down. It's Pedro Hernandez. Another great save by Garcia. Now Mercer mashes it tall. Javier Garcia. That is a show-stopping save. Full extension, and I suppose that's why you stretch. Mercer gets another look with the goal at his mercy. Couldn't keep it down. It remains 1-0. And just a passing blow from Chattanooga as they search for what could be a knockout piece of boxing from them. It was Valentine who went down. Ramos is already on a yellow. He's been sent off. Josh Ramos, only moments after opening up an excellent chance for Pedro Hernandez to extend the lead to 2, has seen himself sent out of this game. And it's just absolutely daft defending. He's left his feet so early, given the offensive player every opportunity to go down, and already on a yellow. That's just silly. So Chattanooga, a new kind of test in a game that they have been the better of these two teams in. And Josh Ramos, for the first time this year, will exit a game early. It felt like a red card was inevitable. And with the amount of players that have been allowed to stay in this game, no substitutions made an hour yet. That may not be the final one today. But the day is done for one of the best attacking players that Chattanooga Red Wolves have. Their wingback, Josh Ramos. A forced exit. You would imagine Scott McKenzie will quickly make a substitution. Try and get that extra number back in defense. We'll see if Texoma can make the math work for them immediately. Up a man now, down a goal. The whole game changes on a lapse in judgment from Josh Ramos. Having a laugh with a couple young fans is Teddy Baker as he presides over this set piece. It's a new day for Texoma. They will have a new lease on life. Can they capitalize on this window of significant opportunity? They will have half an hour to dig themselves out. As the sun sets, a new dawn for the visitors. That being said, those two young fans do not seem to be too bothered by the fact that their side will have a Herculean task in front of them. Ball into the area, it's met by the glove of Jason Smith. And if you thought the ball was not in play for much of the game to date, I think you can expect for it to be in play for even less of the next half hour. You would imagine the likely change would be to get a player like Jordan Ayambila into the game, shore up that right-hand side, that wing back, and get Matt Bentley on to be that lone point of attack, a player that's shown more than once this year he can do it all by himself on the counter. Here's Perkins. No team has stepped into this venue in 2025 in the league and had success. Red Wolves 4 times have claimed all 3 points. They will have to earn them today, up a goal. Will Perkins finding the game at his feet much more now in this second half of play. Lemonjone. Looks for the time being that Pedro Hernandez, who has played wingback in his career, will moonlight in that position now. He's been something more of a second ghost striker this year. Been good for the goals as well. 5 on the campaign, had that great run over the last month of scoring in consecutive matches. He will dirty the boots in defense now. Walefi ducks it back to the goalkeeper Smith, who will let it run as far as it will go. How long does Scott McKenzie allow this game to exist as it currently sits without changing the team and tactics? Red Wolves will be happy to bunker in as this ball once more gets back to Jason Smith. He's touched it more maybe in the last 5 minutes than he has the entire game before this. Jason Smith with a clean sheet today. Would go even with the all-time single season record for clean sheets for Chattanooga Red Wolves. He's had back-to-back games in which he's not seen the ball find the back of his net after losing his starting spot to Ricardo Jerez. The preceding run-in, he's taken back that #1 shirt in these last 3. And he is going to be the executive manager of the game. You will see the ball in his custody quite a bit, you would imagine. He would go level with Alexander Mengels and Carlos Avilés, who's now tearing it up with Avialta. If he is able to secure his own goal and get to the end of this without conceding. Declan Waters. And Javier Garcia. Javier Garcia maybe has been the best player on the pitch today. His side trailing. Boomed away by Eric Kinsner. Red Wolves, who had gone 3 games winless in all competitions, had conceded 9 goals in those games, the most that they had allowed in any run this year. Back-to-back clean sheets following that, as it looks like Grayson Mercer is being escorted to the touchline. And that is so the substitution can be made, a pair of them. From Chattanooga, it looks like Giannis Lelin is set to come into the game. Seen him start the last 2. A player that was a midfielder in college but has found himself as a wing-back for Red Wolves in an increasing role. He comes off the bench today in a big spot and seems like he will be the one tasked with the yoke of playing right wing-back for the recently departed Josh Ramos, sent off at the hour mark, in for Jason Smith, who meets it at its highest point. The day is also done for Aaron Lombardi. Fresh legs on for Jordan Ayambila as he enters. First start for our own Lombardi comes to a close. 70 good and hard minutes from him. Back with the Red Wolves and back at his best. Reed Valentine, official confirmation that Lombardi has made the place for Ayambila. And Grayson Mercer, the striker, comes off so that Chattanooga can get that extra number back in defense. And you would imagine Matt Bentley is being put through his paces to come on in this late stage as well. Perkins at the byline. Flipped away for a corner. Red Wolves will dig the trenches and wade into what will be a muddy last 20 minutes for them. In by Teddy Baker without swing. Bodies down in the area. Arrives at the touchline. Iambila keeping it on the break. Blooming for Chattanooga Red Wolves. Unable to skip away is Omar Gomez, but foul is drawn. And there is a lot of dissent coming from the Red Wolves dugout right now. Thought that that could have been a caution for stopping a promising attack that looked like it was on. It was Omar Gomez that was running away. Ricardo Jerez, the backup goalkeeper, has been shown a yellow card for his vocal disagreement, and the reason for that likely being that Jordan Chavez was the one who put in that foul, who was sitting on a yellow and would have been sent off. There might be rightful criticism of the official there. Actually, I beg your pardon, it was Ozzy Ramos who put in the tackle, but the argument remains the same. Both those players, Jordan Chavez and Ozzy Ramos, were on a yellow card, and subsequently some changes made by Texoma. Looks like Brian Padilla, who just rejoined with the club after a 25-day contract earlier in the year, he will step in for Lemon Jaune. Diego Pepe is also coming off. Phil Delomini will replace him out in the field of play. So a couple choice changes from Adrian Forbes to see if he can't provide that spark that gets Texoma across the line with a victory. If nothing changes, it will be back-to-back 1-0 defeats. Perkins. Red Bulls drawing a line in the sand at the midfield stripe. All bodies behind the ball. Spangler goes quickly. Perkins unable to arrive. Kinsner cuts in. Kashmir Spangler now. He's twisted down, advantage being played. It never really comes to bear, and it's a free kick. A set piece arrives at the feet of Texoma FC. Kashmir Spangler, third in the league in terms of fouls drawn coming into today. Draws one there. With the extra number, with the impetus to equalize. Texoma up a man, trailing by a goal. And so it belongs to Ozzy Ramos. The referee has once more intervened to make sure that there are no shenanigans ahead of the set piece. So it comes. It's at a decent height, but unable to pick the lock. Aerial defense array of Chattanooga Red Wolves. Once more restricting any space inside the box. Iambila dicing with danger as he ducks away from 1, 2. Sombreros away into the break. sprinting away from Perkins. Jordan Iambila still on his horse. Now he awaits reinforcement. His cross is blocked. That was a whole lot of running to immediately have the ball returned to sender. And Perkins is down. Perkins put it in the fifth gear immediately, trying to chase down Iambila and maybe drag him back to stop the break. Iambila has only played 18 minutes in the last 2 games, and with some degree of freshness, nearly did it all by himself. And speaking of which, a man that absolutely can, it is Matt Bentley, chosen to be placed into the game, having scored in his last 2, and it might be the boots, the Hypervenoms. A striker that's as sharp as anybody. It's also Wynan Wessels, a player that, in the words of his manager, Scott McKenzie, maybe a guy that doesn't get a chance at any other club in the American soccer structure, but they are excited to have him. I think he's a big add as Declan Waters gets hacked down. No advantage for Michael Knapp. And it's a free kick from a perfect position. Texoma could be troubled here. It is, if nothing else, a chance for Matt Bentley to be introduced with a degree of havoc. Just a faulty first touch from Delamini. It does not appear those changes have been just yet made, so those will wait. It's Walefi, who has not scored in over 1,700 days over the ball, as well as Omar Hernandez, the one who scored earlier. 4-man barricade. Omar Hernandez couldn't clear the first barricade. The wall, the obstacle in the way. Red Wolves resume. In from deep. Nothing but a hopeful hit. It's a goal kick. So finally, that chance to make the substitution for Chattanooga Red Wolves. It is Walefi Dos Rice who comes off. Wynan Wessels will be that park ranger in the middle. And the goal scorer, the man who put himself between the teams. Omar Hernandez comes off, and the fourth official, who had punched in the wrong digit initially, will correct that error. There is no number 20 for Chattanooga Red Wolves, so that makes it pretty simple, and we hit what looks like the hydration break here in the second half. It has been energetic. It has been engaged. It has taken a lot out of these two teams. As we see the highlights from the game so far, the goal that happened in the first half, as this ball was snuck away initially. Omar Gomez to Omar Hernandez, who shuffled in on that left foot, dropped the defender, and dropped everybody's jaws. It's just such wicked bend and dip, and it's a spiteful blast that puts Chattanooga in front, but this is what reversed the flow of the game. It was Josh Ramos just absolutely decleating Reed Valentine at the touchline. Valentine makes the most of it, but given every invitation I should say, to do so. And Ramos is sent off for a second yellow. Chattanooga Red Wolves put with their back up against the ropes from that point on. They have handled the task as they are so prepared to do quite well. It will be a defending of the homestead from here on out. Everybody sufficiently hydrated beneath sweltering summer sun. Matt Bentley straight away onto the ball and into the game. Right Riding sidecars, Pedro Hernandez, who goes right back to Bentley off the chest. And it lands with a thud and a flag up on the far side. Hello, Mr. Bentley. Instant impacts. An electrified player that's been at the epicenter of the difference-making department for Chattanooga Red Wolves throughout this season. There are players in this team that carry water, that do a job. Bentley is there to add that final little bit of seasoning. Padilla can't keep it on. Shared between the sides, there have only been 211 completed passes. We have 10 minutes left in the game. It has been a bare-knuckle brawl, and there is more contact absorbed. Pedro Hernandez has been kicked quite a bit today. The official has immediately brought on the training staff. See if the ball caught him in the head or if the kick did. It was the ball. No ill will in that, but the right decision to stop play and make sure that Pedro Hernandez has all his wits about him. These Red Wolves doing what they've done. They dig in, they defend. Dog their way so often this year to 3 points. They've put themselves on the inside track to do exactly that. This would be a win according to the script. Scott McKenzie earlier this year in a game against Greenville Triumph in the dressing room told his bunch, this is the game that we learn the importance of winning 1-0 in reference to Chattanooga Red Wolves, and he felt like that was the moment in which they actually kind of came to know themselves in this season that they've enjoyed so much of. That will be once more what is offered to them today. And Pedro Hernandez does not look in the best of states. Looks like the trainer has called upon the bench to ready another substitution. There's some apparent swelling going on at that right eye. Just right in the middle of that ball striking the face of an unwitting Pedro Hernandez, who didn't really get a chance to brace. Not sure anybody could brace that much for that. Now, even if Chattanooga Red Wolves were out of substitutions in the USL, if there's any suspicion of a head injury, an extra one is made available. That would be a 6th. And that appears to be the case. One will also be made available to Texoma because of that fact, just to make everything even. But it does appear that Pedro Hernandez will exit the contest with some assistance, and Zahir Vasquez will replace him. This should all be factored for stoppage time at the end of the game. Vasquez has been in the starting lineup at times this year, with 6 on the campaign in the league. And he is injected to replace Pedro Hernandez. 2 goals for him on the year. Plenty of reason to suspect that he will maintain the level at the front end. And again, this should all be factored for stoppage time. Just to revisit the earlier note, I know we've made a lot of it so far today, just in regard to the overall amounts of time the ball has actually been in play in this one. We are just across 30 total minutes, which which is an obscenely low number. Picked up by the goalkeeper, Javier Garcia. We saw the most yellow cards we've seen in a half this year in the first frame. 7 total. One of those ended up being specifically important as Josh Ramos was sent off and his side defend down to 10. Over the head of Padilla, who does well to be acrobatic and take it down, but Reed Valentine is unable to tame, and it's out for a goal kick. Red Wolves on the precipice of a little bit of their own history. This would be 3 straight clean sheets for them, their longest such stretch since September of 2021. That's when they had 4 in a row. This is in the league. That is the longest such streak in the club's long and proud founding history. This would be 3 consecutive league victories as well and would take them to 2nd in the USL League One table. One Knox just across the state is up 2-1 on AV Alta. Nearing the chance to end that haughty winning streak for AV Alta as this ball is hooked away. Foul is given in the mid-park. Michael Knapp was the first player, one of them, to have the yellow card given to him. He must play with a little bit more restraint than that. That's dancing on the razor blade. Jordan Chavez. Ajmir Spangler, a rare touch for him. Dolomini and Spangler connecting the dots. It's prodded away. Dolomini between lines. Best spell of build-up for Texoma, and it just is unable to be taken in by Ajmir Spangler. Coming to the end of the line now. Texoma only 2 shots in the game. None on target. They have played with an extra man for everything that's come past the 60th minute now. This is an uncommon level of defending that you see game in, game out from this man's squad, Chattanooga Red Wolves. Will Perkins. Texoma now being seated with possession. Ajmir Spangler once more drifting to the touchline, gets away from Ayambila. A fainting touch from Jordan Chavez that lands heavy on the foot of Ozzy Ramos. Conducting the move now, the Birds. Blindly away by Omar Gomez and knotted clear by Michael Knapp. Reed Valentine, Ajmir Spangler. Back in for Valentine and slid away for a throw. It is with white knuckles that Red Wolves cling to the game now. Ozzy Ramos into the box. Pumped away at the back. Look at the pursuits. So here Vasquez chasing it off the foot of Javier Garcia. Teddy Baker turns it to the near touchline, off the chest of Perkins. In the half space, Padilla back for Perkins. Ayambila's there. Taking his time to get clear, and now to flex it off Perkins. Is it out for a goal kick or a throw? It is a throw, which is significant because Texoma can really press into the corner now. Kinsner will take every inch afforded to him up the touchline. Referee telling him to back up now. He is in the wrong there, but not wrong for trying. This is where the gamesmanship can be a real value. Understanding how to manipulate the late game situation. Like it or not, it's part of the sport. It is an art form, even if it is a dark one. A little bit clumsy defensively there as Declan Waters puts it out for a throw. A chance to get the bodies forward for Texoma and get a couple new bodies into the game, in fact. Looks like Brandon McManus will be recalled to the dugout. It's Patrick Stachewski who replaces him. Ian Marino also coming in for Texoma. It is the debut in the league for Ian Marino. And in fact, the debut overall with Texoma. 89th minute. He would write a golden chapter of early history if he can do something here. Ball into the box. Met at the first advance, but undefied is Perkins, whose pass is without points. You wondered how Jason Smith was nearing that all-time single-season clean sheet mark. Having only made 15 total saves this year, case in point this game. Bentley. Foul is given. It looked like it was Ajmir Spangler who overextended. He is not one of the players on a yellow card, so should be little jeopardy in this other than the extinguishing of what is remaining in terms of time to play. It should be quite a bit of stoppage time. Usually a little bit more liberal in the second half than the first. The board goes up. It is 9 minutes of stoppage time. It's an endurance test for Chattanooga Red Wolves, but they are marathon runners here in this part of Tennessee. Ball in with some slope, up for Knapp. Beyond his grasp there and back in by Vasquez. Garcia tracking it, caught out of goal. It will stilt out of touch, and it will be a goal kick. Texoma need to conjure some industry, some imagination as they prepare to relaunch from the goal kick. Just about keeping it on. Over the top to the far side, down by Valentine. Off the back heel, in for Spangler. Who once more is unable to untangle himself, but might do something here. Spangler, what a tackle from Lynon Wessels. Just snatched the ball, an arresting bit of defending on one of the league's brightest creators. Powered in by Jordan Chavez. Unable to spot Perkins in the back door. It's a goal kick. Best case scenario for Chattanooga. Chance to look back at some really heroic defending from Lynon Wessels, who was always taking a risk, leaving his feet at the top of the box like that. Had to get it absolutely right. And almost as if he grabbed it with his hands, just took it away from Ajmir Spangler. It's precious seconds drifting away. Pretty pastels in the sky. The absolute antithesis of what this game has consisted of. As it sits 1-0. Lelin pacing one ahead for Bentley, who gets there. It's kicked away again. Garcia, a gaudy bit of defending as he comes to the top of his box and denies. Iambila in at the top of the area. Zahir Vasquez puts one straight into the chest. Center mass on Garcia. Javier Garcia on his head. He's made more saves with his feet today than he has his hands. And renders a chance to draw even with one kick for Texoma. Kashmir Spangler, Valentine. Pulsed into the area and pressed away by Declan Waters. It's with each clearance, a heavy draw of breath, a big sigh from Chattanooga. Rainbowing down into the path of Teddy Baker, who takes it on. It's a free ball in the middle. Hit hard! What a goal! Jordan Chavez! A strike that will echo in Texoma lore for the ages. Level in Tennessee. It is with such purity of hits. The first shot on target of the game for Texoma takes it back to 1-1. It has increased speed in its flight. The only thing that could have stopped that was the back of the net. Blinder, Belcher, Jordan Chavez, the captain, is fantastic. There was nothing for them, and then there was something. That is the kind of hit that was required to break up this streak of defensive bulwark from Chattanooga Red Wolves. Breached for the first time in nearly 300 minutes now. This game may very well hit 100 minutes played. And we're being told that potentially Zahir Vasquez has been sent off. Well, Vasquez is still on the field. There's plenty of jaw-jacking between teams. Declan Waters, the most adamant for Chattanooga. Vasquez has remained on, so I'm unsure as to whether or not the red card was actually given. The official is sorting things out now. The clock should be stagnant at this point, so this will all be factored on the backside of the 9 minutes given. Declan Waters is being given his explanation, even if it is not so satisfactory to him. Jordan Chavez is the one who threw the leveling blow, a knockdown in the 12th round. That has put it even on the scorecards at 1-1. It was actually Diego Pepe who was given the red card on Texoma's bench. He started the game, and in his celebration, lost his head a bit apparently, so he will not be available for the next game. And it's Kinsner now. Pepe will be available for the 2 Jägermeister Cup games that follow this, as league and cup infractions do not interfere with one another. There's another tangle now. The game has lost every semblance of shape and form. Texoma defended so well. Down to 10 men for a half hour, didn't exceed a single shot conceded. It's with one strike, and this is why we love this game. The lowest scoring on earth means that it really literally takes only one moment of just real inspiration, one bounce of the ball, to completely alter the complexion of a contest. And that's what puts us even at 1-1. Texoma were not good for it until they were. Spangler maybe not content with the single point. And you can expect at least 2 or 3 minutes beyond the 9 that were given because of the stoppages. Spangler is quilting. Spangler infield. Smith out for the save. It was Stashevsky that was in and could not cut clear of the goalkeeper. Ajmir Spangler, a brilliantly disguised through ball that caught the last man napping. Stashevsky saw his name up in lights but could not arrive with the level of conviction to break it open. Now Spangler outside of the boot, it's blocked. So here Vasquez and Matt Bentley breaks away from one. Can't break away from the next. Padilla. And now it's all coming unspooled. Bench is clearing. Not quite sure what the defender thought that they were doing. It looked like Dilamini, who went in and just tried to kind of sit on the ball to prevent Chattanooga from restarting. This is completely lost every sense of standard of play. Everything being left on the field. This is what competition looks like. We are past the 9 minutes given. Maybe 5 of it has been actually played. It's a red card. A crazy game takes another turn. It appears Matt Bentley has been given the marching orders now. So in trying to pick this apart, the referee would not have had a great line of sight, but the fourth official absolutely would have. And anything that happened at the ad boards, you would imagine Promise Adebayo Ike would have had a big interest in. And now we take a look back. It was some tackle from Padilla. And then just jumping on top of the ball. That's really uncalled for from Dilamini. Clearly trying to stop play from resuming. A shove from Matt Bentley. The fourth official is right there. Also being told that Dilamini has been given a caution for that, a yellow card. And it's a straight red for Matt Bentley. Completely unsure as to what was said or done that elicited that response, but the referee knew exactly what card they were going for when they reached for it. And it's down to 9 now for Chattanooga Red Wolves. They will need to keep their nerve and calm if they are to see out the single points. A tenuous night in Tennessee. Now in its final turn. And we still have not restarted. This game easily can meet the 105th minute now. Josh Ramos sent off earlier, most recently Matt Bentley. Chattanooga down to 9 men here at home. Wyden Wessels unable to solve the riddle. Kinsner heading back to his goalkeeper, Jason Smith, who will just sit on the ball as long as he can now. It's hang in and hope time for the home side. Omar Hernandez, his goal feels like it took place a decade ago. Plenty of history made between these two in their first clash. Texoma and Chattanooga. On the final page now, Ajmir Spangler. Options all around. Stashevsky unable to arrive ahead of Giannis Lelin. Scott McKenzie is screaming for the whistle. 3 minutes past the 9 given. Scott McKenzie's already been booked. He's on a yellow card. The fourth official has summoned the center to the dugout. Discourse being had. Thomas Adebayo Ike making his points to Shantaini, the center official. She's going for the pocket. It's a yellow card to one of the assistants. Will it be a yellow card to Scott McKenzie now? If he is shown a caution, he would have to miss the next game away to Union Omaha, or rather that actually away to, or at home, I should say, to Spokane Velocity. And he has been able to dodge that danger, and play resumes. A hopeful ball in behind, over the head of Kinsner, and swept up by Ayambila. It will be what appears to the thrower corner, that's the question. The way bodies are loitering in and around the box, I think it's a corner kick. Chattanooga Red Wolves down to 9 men. They cannot sufficiently mark all the outfield players in the game now, even including the goalkeeper and corner taker. They're 9 for 9 in the box. Into the area from Spangler, over the head of Jason Smith. May have taken a glance. It's a goal kick. That could be it. Away by Smith. We're still playing. Ball out for a throw, maybe a chance to commit some numbers and see if you can't secure all 3 points if you're Chattanooga. Hurled in. It spins free. Declan Waters, or rather that Kinsner, has it deflected. Waters trying to reach it. Smith provides the final action in a frantic contest here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It was all but one, and then it wasn't. Jordan Chavez wears the cape for Texoma. And the Birds break free at the end. The play of the match, presented by Tennessee Highway Safety, is presented by Omar Hernandez, as he would be the man in the first half to take hold of the game, taking it onto his left foot. The outlaw man of the match here today, on a day that Chattanooga were unable to outlast their opposition. As we set to step aside, we pick through everything that we just saw when we return. 1-1 the final score between Texoma and Chattanooga.
Why do you always seem to be on that last flight home? Why is the customer always right, even when they're wrong? It's because when it's your business, you're all in. And no one's all in with you like EPB. Only EPB is all in with 100% fiber fast internet that's always your best value. Plus experts all in to help you 24/7. We're all in Chattanooga, because we're all in this together. EPB for your business. We're all in.
and it's still running hot. Chattanooga fans exchanging words with Texoma as players are trying to pick through the bones of a crazy and chaotic game. Here is how it happened. Attempt to make sense of it if you wish, but in the USL League One, there is always the chance that you could see something you've never seen before. This was a crazy one. It started with Omar Hernandez opening things up. Full-time highlights are brought to you by Chai Memorial. It's Omar Hernandez, goal worth replaying time and time and time again. It was on a starlit course for the corner, destined to nestle in the back of the net. And it was 1-0, and it was Chattanooga in firm control until Josh Ramos lost his head, lost his feet, went into Reed Valentine, got shown the second yellow, and that would be day done and game on. Texoma at this point without a single shot on target, only 2 shots total. This would be their first shot on target. It would land loudly. Their captain, Jordan Chavez. That is as clean of a hit as any player at any level in this global game played by more people than any sport on earth. That's as well as you can hit a ball. And it made it 1-1 in stoppage time. And it would be decisive on the day as to how the points were split up, shared to be precise. 1 for each team, Chattanooga Red Wolves and Texoma FC. Texoma, they're serious. After that slow start, they've picked up points in so many of these recent games, and Adrian Forbes is ready for his side to get the respect that, quite frankly, they have earned at this stage. Chattanooga, they will look at this and feel like they let it go a little bit. Adrian Forbes is still settling and smoothing with Chattanooga fans, but we have hit the end of the line today at the full-time bell. 1-1, the final score between Texoma and Chattanooga Red Wolves. For all of our lovely crew that have made this game possible and helped pilot through what has been choppy waters here today in Tennessee. Folks, I have been Peyton Gallagher. This is what the USL League One can offer. Such thrilling theater here today in Chattanooga as we meet the final moment. 1-1, Jordan Chavez, a goal forevermore in Texoma. Take a point home with them. Folks, thanks for joining along for the ride. We will talk to you soon. 1-1 the final.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.